5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're live. Welcome to another edition of USCCA Live here on the YouTubes. I'm Kevin Michalowski, Director of Content and Editor of Concealed Carry Magazine here with the USCCA. And I want to let you know, we also put together some really cool bonuses. So if you're interested in the USCCA, we have 3 free bonuses that you can get right now when you join. But those bonuses end soon, and they're so cool they won't even tell me what they are. I think they change all the time, so they don't want me to get it wrong. But click the link in the description to learn more about what those bonuses are if you're interested in joining the USCCA. We're here to answer your questions as always, and we will jump right in. Abe S. wants to know, Kevin, what's your favorite gun of 2022? Well, this might shock some people, but in 2022, I have come to embrace the Model 1911 platform, and in the form of an imported 1911, a 9mm commander size bobtail pistol called the Tysis Stingray. And actually you'll be able to see a full report on that gun in an upcoming 2023 edition of Concealed Carry Magazine as I put it through its paces. I shot it at a writer's event when they introduced it and showed it off, and it was just right. It just felt right. It was the right size. It was the right weight. It's an aluminum frame commander size 1911 with a 10-round magazine. And again, I said chambered in 9mm, and it just carries well. It pointed real well for me. It functioned wonderfully. I didn't have problems with it. I have had problems in the past with 1911s. They haven't been as reliable as some of the other polymer pistols, and I've made sport of them, and I guess I have to eat my words now because I've really enjoyed shooting that gun and carrying it, and I've tried it in a couple of different holsters, and it just seems to be working right for me. So again, if you want to know what my favorite gun from 2022 is, it is the Tysis Stingray. It's imported with SDS Imports, I think it is, out of Knoxville, Tennessee. So is it Knoxville, Tennessee? Or something like that. So you can go search it on the Google machine and they'll tell you what's going on out there. So, all right, questions are rolling in. Leon from Oregon, what's the best alternative weapon I can carry? I just noticed that if you mix up all the letters of Leon, you can make Noel. So Merry Christmas to you, Leon. What's the best alternative weapon I can carry? The alternative weapon I have right here in my hand, the tactical flashlight. Look at that. Fight me when you can't see me. I think a tactical flashlight, a small tactical flashlight that you can carry in your pocket and keep with you all the time. Notice I carry it on my offhand side. It's right there when I need it. It allows you to see what's going on around you and not cause any problems. It's not illegal for you to shine your flashlight on things. If you see somebody who looks suspicious, shine your flashlight on them. That immediately lets them know you're paying attention. And if they do have bad intent, then they realize they have lost the element of surprise. It also makes a very good impact weapon if you're close. The bezel of that flashlight bashed against somebody's forehead will tend to get their attention. And shining a flashlight in somebody's eyes and moving means they don't know really where you are. So you get a good, powerful, intense flashlight, shine it in someone's eyes, and then move, get out of the way. It provides you great benefits and is a great alternative to pulling out your gun and something like that. Now, again, those of you who carry a carry a flashlight on your firearm, I don't want you to use your loaded flashlight to be searching for things. Carry a handheld tactical light and use it when you think you need it. That's I'm going to go with the best alternative weapon as the handheld flashlight. So those of you who thought I was going to say pepper spray or something of that nature, if you saw me get pepper sprayed in a recent video, I don't even know if that video's out yet. Someone sprayed me in the face with something and it hurt, and I didn't like it much. But okay, John says, I have a concealed weapons permit. Would I be able to still go fishing at residential parks and go hiking with my firearms, my everyday carry, or do I need a hunter's permit? John, it doesn't say where you live, but if you're carrying your firearm for personal defense and you are carrying it legally, you do not need a hunting license to go ahead and do that. And if you're hiking, and you're not shooting your gun at animals, then you're not going to need a hunter's license to do that. But again, as Tom Grieve will always say, check your local listings. Make sure that you're legal to carry where you're going. In some states, county parks and things of that nature, they don't allow you to carry your gun in the county or state parks, specifically the campgrounds. I know that campgrounds, especially at national forests and state parks, campgrounds are off limits. Firearms are off limits for those campgrounds, right down to BB guns in most cases. They don't want people shooting anything in the campground. So make sure you're following the rules and understand that if you're carrying a gun for personal defense and you are not actively engaged in hunting or doing something that could be confused as hunting, you don't need to have a hunting license when you're carrying that firearm. I wonder if these are screen names or just people letting me know. This one just says generic. How do I get self-defense laws in my backwards nightmare country of Canada? Well, generic. This is the U.S. Concealed Carry Association. And even though the internet goes all around the world, we are only focusing on things going on right here in the good old US of A. So yes, Canada is having some trouble. Canadians are struggling under draconian gun laws, and it's only getting worse because there's nothing in Canada like the Second Amendment. And I don't know how you would get that. It's a long, slow process. It was even a long, slow process to get firearms rights written into the U.S. Constitution way back in 1791. So I don't know what's going to happen in Canada. I know I'm not going to take my guns there. I might go up to go fishing, but they certainly do not welcome me and my American firearms across the border up in Canada. So, oh, Joe Mama is back. Joe asks questions every time we go live. This is just wonderful. What if the ATF arrives at my home checking for straw purchases on my firearms, and that firearm is not at the residence? Firearm is being carried by my son or daughter with a concealed carry permit. Well, I don't know what's going to happen in that case. First of all, if the ATF arrives at your home, you might want to ask them to go and get a warrant. We've seen that show up in a couple of different cases. Now, we see that on the internet because it came with some really good video, but I don't know how often that is happening when the ATF is actually showing up at the house and saying, hey, we noticed on these records that you bought 5 or 6 firearms in the last month. We'd like to see them to make sure you're not making a straw purchase. In that case, wow, I would really like to see them show up with a warrant if they want to come in and search your home. If you feel like you want to assist the law enforcement agency in helping them do stuff like that, you know, that's going to be up to you, but they just don't have the right to come in and search anything. And remember, if you offer that up and you let them in your house and they see something that's illegal or something they want to investigate further, who knows what could happen at that point. Yes, during a search, you can say that the search is over at any time. If you give a consent search, you can revoke that consent at any time. But understand that it does open up a can of worms, and this is a very sticky situation. And I don't want to call this legal advice. I don't want to give anybody bad advice on this stuff. But if you own a firearm and you have sold that to someone else, that's perfectly legal for you to do that in your state as long as you're following your state laws. There are some states that require a background check and a transfer and things like that. But if you are allowing a family member to use that firearm, you're going to have to make sure you follow your state laws, know them and follow them explicitly, because I believe it was Washington State was working on a law, and I don't have it memorized because I'm not a Washington State resident, but you can probably find it at uscca.com/laws. Washington State was working on a law that would have made it illegal to even hand your gun to someone else if you were crossing a fence. It was so terrible in the wording of the law. So double check your state laws before that happens. And, you know, if the ATF shows up at your house, I would politely encourage them to go get a warrant and come back and see what they're looking for. So, all right. Op411, thanks for the $1.99 donation. Op411, you gave us $1.99 and you didn't even ask a question. I think you should bounce back with a question, and maybe I can help you out with some stuff right there. So hopefully this is a screen name and I'm not giving away someone's first and last name. James Knight, what is the general definition of brandishing? Brandishing with an SH, brandishing. Placing a hand on a gun without showing it. Well, James, we've been looking around and we can't find a specific law anywhere that talks about brandishing, about whether or not you're showing off your firearm, whether or not you're using it. There are some laws against intentionally pointing a firearm at another. Disorderly conduct is kind of a catch-all. If you're acting in a disorderly manner, then you get disorderly conduct with a firearm or something like that. But I know that in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you can be charged if your gun becomes visible and it's supposed to be concealed. And in other places, there are open carry laws and no requirements for a permit. So I'm going to ask you to please check your local laws, check the laws wherever you're going to be carrying your gun, because in some cases, it doesn't have to be that you pointed a gun at someone or that you pulled it out with ill intent. And even if you pulled it out, put it down at your side and was yelling at someone, you just had your gun at the ready. So I'm going to say the best thing for you to do is not pull your gun and not threaten to pull your gun. But by all means, don't pull your gun unless you are facing with what you reasonably believe to be an imminent threat of death or great bodily harm. Keep that gun holstered. You know where it is. You know how to get to it. Good situational awareness and conflict avoidance will help give you some extra time to get that gun into action should you need it. But I don't want anyone watching this video to think that flashing a gun or brandishing a gun or telling people you have a gun is a way to de-escalate anything. It's not. It might escalate the situation, because if you say, get back, I got a gun, the person might just, hey, I don't care. Let's see what you can do with that gun. And the situation goes from there. So the idea of using your gun is that you use it as a last resort. You don't use it as a tool to try to subdue someone or convince them to do something or anything like that. You're using that gun as an immediate action life-saving device. That's when you're using your gun. So don't be pulling it out and waving it around and stuff like that. Samson says, California has so many laws. Is there a website or source I can use? Specifics, please. There are a lot of fake info on the internet. Yes, there is. So I am going to direct you to the USCCA.com/laws website, where we employ a full-time person to do nothing but review the laws of all 50 states and keep up with them as best we can. Now, understand that sometimes there are proposals that don't become law that people are talking about in their state, and we don't do a lot of coverage of that. We wait until the law is actually passed and we can say what it is and where it is on the books and how you can check it out. And there are lots of good links and lots of good information at uscca.com/laws. Click on whatever state you like and go take a look. All right, Opt44. I think this is the guy who gave us the $1.99 donation before, isn't it? Well, who? If a known ex-coworker spots you out and about with your concealed firearm, unknown to ex-coworker, you are carrying concealed. He got fired from work for hostile threats to my person, and I have to punch you. You have to punch him? Kick you. Can you draw your firearm and shoot a well-placed shot to kill? In Will County, state of Illinois, we got a little mix-up here. The same individual showed off the fact that he has been in many fights. So I guess the way this question is coming back around here is that you're dealing with somebody who has apparently a history of violence, and you know this history of violence, and this person has been fired from work for hostile threats toward you. Now you're understanding that this threat level is escalating, and this person spots you and while you're out and about, but doesn't know that you're carrying a concealed firearm. What I would suggest you do in that situation, whether or not you believe you have a right to stay where you are or whatever, I would try to extricate myself from that situation. I don't need to be there for that fight. I don't need to be there for that hostile coworker. Whatever is going on is not so important that I'm going to stand there and get in a fist fight that could escalate to a gunfight with somebody who is known to be violent and known to be causing problems. Because the truth is that right, wrong, or indifferent, if you end up in a situation where you pull out your gun, there is going to be an investigation focused on you, not on this other person. It's going to be focused on you because you're the one with the gun. And you're going to have to explain why you did what you did and whether or not you can articulate that you actually felt as though you were in an imminent threat, you were facing an imminent threat of death or great bodily harm. That's when you can pull out your gun. So I also really want to get back around this, a well-placed shoot to kill, a well-placed shot to kill. We are not trying to kill anyone. If you are carrying a gun for personal defense, it is not because you want to kill anyone. Stop saying that. Stop saying that right now. What you do with your firearm is that you stop the threat. You stop the imminent, deadly threat, and you stop that with your firearm. You don't want the person to die. We don't. We're not walking around waiting to kill someone. What we are doing is using our firearms to stop the threat. And if you have to shoot them to stop the threat, then by all means shoot them, and when the threat stops, stop shooting them. But it is not your intent to kill them. If you walk around saying that you're going to shoot to kill, that's going to be an even bigger hurdle you have to climb when it comes time to mount a legal defense for your actions. You're not trying to kill them. You just wanted them to stop. In some cases, their threat was so great and so imminent and so deadly and so overpowering that you had to use enough force that was likely to kill them, and they might die as a result of it, but that was not your intention. So please, everyone who's watching, stop saying that you're going to shoot to kill. We're not. We're shooting to stay alive. And if we have to shoot someone 2 or 3 or 4 or 7 times, the reason we shot them is not to kill them, it is to stop them. We just wanted to stop their felonious, assaultive, deadly behavior. That's what we're doing. So stop saying that you want to kill people. It's not what we want to do. Z-Pilot. At what point does, if you want my dog, you'll have to go through me, go from defending property to legal self-defense shooting? So here we are, coming back around to the dog question again. And all you dog lovers are going to be mad at me when I tell you that in every state that I can think of, every place that we're talking about, pets are listed as property. They are not family members. You cannot humanize them. The anthropomorphic idea that a dog is just a different kind of person, that's wrong. A dog is a dog and a cat is a cat, and those are property in the eyes of the law. You may love your dog very much, and you may not want anyone to hurt your dog, but you may not use deadly force to protect your dog, because that's using deadly force to protect property. And you're probably going to end up in some very serious trouble if you use deadly force to protect your dog. Now, if somebody's coming at your dog in I don't know, the wildest situation I can think of is somebody has a big knife and they decide that for whatever reason they're going to kill your dog, and you get in the way of that and you use a reasonable amount of force to attempt to stop this unlawful interference with your property, and then the person turns the knife toward you, and you can now articulate that you are the target of a deadly threat, then you may use deadly force. But this is going to be a very serious investigation, and there's going to be people talking about it from all sides, because no two people are going to give the cops the same story about what happened and what they saw and what they thought and what they felt. So ideally, again, the best fight is the one you're not in. I'd like to see you get out of there. And if somebody's coming to try to kill your dog, you can't use deadly force to protect the dog. You can use deadly force to protect yourself or another human being. So, don't shoot the messenger. Don't be mad at me. Those are the laws surrounding personal property, and pets are listed as personal property. Jedi Master Patrick made a $10 donation. And wow, there's some big words here that I might not. Now a $5 donation. That number went down. What's going on? They're right on my screen. It's magical. Can a lawyer ask if you own a firearm during your voir dire? Wow. I missed some sort of legalese term. I really wish Tom Grieve was standing here next to me. So I'm going to answer this question exactly the way I answer all the can. Oh, there we go. During jury selection. Somebody mistyped. I'm going to count it on the producer over there. What?
It's when you're going through trying to pick a jury.
Oh, okay. So voir dire. I'm showing my ignorance to the Latin language. Can a lawyer ask if you own a firearm during jury selection? Can? Yes. There's a great big difference between what is allowed and what you are able to do. So, yeah, the judge sets the rules for what questions can be asked during jury selection. And the judge is probably talking with both the prosecutor and the defense attorney to determine the ground rules on what they're going to ask and what they're not going to ask during jury selection. So can someone ask? Yeah, anybody is able to ask any question that they want. Is it allowed? That's different than are they able to do that? And it's going to happen under the rules of that courtroom set by that judge as they're discussing between the prosecutor and the defense team to decide what is going to be allowed and not allowed during jury selection. So it's let's flip a coin and let's see what your prosecution team and your defense team are going to allow to have happen during that time. All right, things are moving here. Foxtrot says, if I own a gun and a CCL, that must be concealed carry license in his state, and my wife wants to own CBD, will I be breaking the law because I'm technically in possession of it? Well, first of all, most CBD products do not contain THC. And second of all, are you technically in possession of it if your wife is in possession of it? No, I don't believe so. If you own a gun and your wife is using THC products, well, hopefully, if there is a question from law enforcement, your wife will say, yep, that THC is mine, doesn't belong to him, he's not using it. I'm hoping you have that good of a relationship in your marriage, but if you own a gun and your spouse or your significant other is using CBD, you're probably going to be fine because, again, CBD oil and those products typically do not have THC, which is the active ingredient in marijuana. So will you be breaking the law? No, if you're technically in possession of it, that means you have it. You have it under your control. And again, that has to be the laws of your state you have to be following. But remember that according to the federal rules, THC is still a Schedule I narcotic. It's still controlled like that. So, all right. Are you folks enjoying this conversation? And if you are, we have a gun giveaway going on. No, it's not a gun giveaway. I'm supposed to read this stuff that's right here on the screen. We have 3 bonuses. Stop laughing at me over there. Now I got the whole team. I set them all off. They're trying to laugh quietly. 3 bonuses right now if you join the USCCA. These bonuses end really soon, and all you have to do is click the link in the description to learn what they are. So go ahead and do that while I see them compose themselves behind the camera over there because, oh no, Kevin made a mistake. That almost never happens. All right. Peyton, should you attempt to render aid if your attacker after you've legally used your firearm in self-defense? Peyton, I'm going to say no, you shouldn't. Here's the reason behind that. If you had your gun out and you were in such fear for your life that you thought you needed to use deadly force to stop your attacker, then I want you to make sure that you are not putting yourself at a tactical disadvantage after you've used your firearm to stop this attacker. Yes, call 911, get an ambulance on the way. That should be the extent of your help, because if you go to render aid, think about this, bad guys tend to run in packs. There might be other bad guys around who will then attack you while you are focused on trying to help the bad guy who you just shot. And what if the bad guy is smart enough or has the presence of mind to pretend to be shot or pretend to be hurt worse than he is to get you to come closer so that he can then fight you and try to take your weapon away and use it on you? the best thing you can do is call 911 and get help on the way. I want you, after a shooting, to move to a position of tactical advantage. Get yourself to some place where you are feeling safer than you were before, and you are not exposed to danger, and you can still see the bad guy, and you can still look around and see if there are any other bad guys there. But I don't think you should be out there trying to render first aid, because it puts you in a very dangerous position at an already very dangerous situation. Ooh, this person has a wonderful name, Kevin. If I were in a self-defense situation and my gun was confiscated, would they also take my secondary handgun that I keep at home? Probably not, Kevin. So what's going to happen at a self-defense shooting is that the police are going to take what they believe to be evidence at the shooting. And if they feel like they need your firearm for evidence, if it looks like they're going to be doing an investigation, it's not a clear-cut case where they're like, yep, by everything we see right here, doesn't look like there's any problems and we're going to send you home tonight. They might still come back and further investigate and take your gun as evidence. But the gun they're going to take is the gun that is evidence in this situation. So they may come back and say, based on the evidence we have, we believe that you acted unlawfully and you committed an act of murder. And then they might say that we'll release you on bail, and a condition of your bail is that you have no firearms in your house, then you need to move them out or whatever. But they're probably not going to confiscate those guns. They're going to let you move them to a different location. The gun that will get taken is the gun that police want to use as evidence in that situation. Ben in Florida. I know it's not a gun, but what is considered concealed on a knife? Can I clip it inside my pocket? Ben, I don't have the Florida laws memorized, but under, I believe it is Wisconsin concealed carry laws, allows you to carry a knife and a baton or billy club, I think they call it, that is also concealed. And at that point, what is concealed is what's listed in your state laws. So go over to USCCA.com/laws and read the Florida laws about what is authorized under a concealed carry permit. And understand, if you're living in a constitutional carry state, the rules involving knives and other alternate weapons may be different if you have a permit or if you're carrying under their constitutional carry rules, which allow you to carry without a permit. So I'm going to ask you to do some research where you live and understand those laws, because we don't want you breaking them. And knife laws can be just as complicated as gun laws. There are some really crazy knife laws out there about automatic knives and switchblades and blade length and gravity knives and all sorts of other things. So take your time and research the laws. I don't have them memorized, so I can't give you an amazing answer right now. Nate Farnham made a $10 donation. Thank you, Nate. As a resident of a constitutional carry state, should I consider getting a non-resident CCW permit in a state with wide reciprocity for when I travel? As I am an aircraft team and travel on an airsoft team, I thought it said aircraft team, I didn't know there was an airsoft team, and I travel a lot. Yes, that is a great idea. Even if you are in a constitutional carry state, some of these states offer constitutional carry, but they also have a concealed carry permit or even an enhanced concealed carry permit. I would consider getting one, because if you travel to a state that has reciprocity with some other state that only has reciprocity if you have a permit, it expands your options when you're doing this. Now, there are a lot of people who will say, well, damn it, I shouldn't have to have a permit anyway. And the Second Amendment is my permit and it's not right. Yep, you're correct. It's not right, but it is currently the law. So until the law gets changed, you're going to have to follow those laws. And if you get a CCW permit from a state that has lots of reciprocity, like Utah or Florida or something like that, you get a non-resident permit. That can help you when you're traveling to states that have reciprocity. And that USCCA.com/laws, we got a reciprocity map right on there too. So you can click on the state where you have a permit, click on the state where you're traveling. It'll tell you if you are legal in all of those states. Chris wants to know, is there a universal concealed carry permit for all 50 states, or is it in the works? There is not. It is in the works. It's called National Concealed Carry Reciprocity. And there's actually a political action committee called USCCA for Saving Lives that is working on stuff like that. It is an uphill battle to get all 50 states to agree that your concealed carry permit in one state will be recognized in another state the same way your driver's license is. So there are some, this is going to surprise you, Chris, there are some anti-gun states out there who don't want anyone to carry guns, and they certainly don't want strangers from outside their state carrying guns. So it's going to be a big fight. It is in the works. There's been a couple of senators and representatives who are working on this National Concealed Carry Reciprocity law, but yeah, it's a tall hill to climb. All right. Furry Alpaca made a $5 donation and wants to announce that Beretta is my choice for carry. Well, Beretta makes a lot of guns, Furry Alpaca. What is your favorite Beretta as your choice for concealed carry? I'm just going to put that right back on you. If you want to be bragging, tell us what it is. Aaron, I know when I took my class, it was said that you are not allowed to shoot from your vehicle. What if you are in a traffic jam, you are stopped, and someone starts firing at cars? Are you allowed to fire back from your car? Well, this is a very interesting dilemma. Shooting from a moving vehicle is frowned upon because you don't have really good control about where your bullets are going. And remember, you are responsible for every bullet that you fire. Every round you fire, you are responsible for that. Now, I need you to understand that when you are inside a vehicle and you need to use your gun to address a threat outside the vehicle, it is very difficult to hit that threat shooting through the windshield. It's kind of counterintuitive. Because of the angled glass, the bullet gets deflected, but probably not the way that you think. Now, the glass is angled downward and away from you when you're shooting out, so the top edge of your bullet hits the glass first, and then it slows down. And that means the bottom edge goes faster and the bullet goes upward, comes out at an upward angle when you're shooting through glass from inside of a car. That doesn't help you hit your target. It really is difficult to hit a target shooting through windshield glass from inside a car. Counterintuitively, from outside a car, if somebody shoots through your windshield, that bullet ends up going down and usually dumps right into the center of the seat where you're sitting. So what I tell people all the time is if you're going to be in a gunfight, get out of your car. It's a death trap. It is a death box. Get out so you can be moving. It's much harder for them to hit you. Get out, move to cover, and then do what you need to do from there. But if you're stuck in a traffic jam and there's somebody walking up and down between cars shooting at people and you see this happening, yes, get out of your car, get to some better cover. Your doors don't provide great cover. They may or may not stop a bullet. I do not want to test that theory because if they don't stop the bullet, then you're in trouble. So yes, you can shoot from your car. If you're stuck in traffic and that's the only thing you can do, it may not be effective and you're going to be held liable for where that bullet goes. All right, if you're enjoying this content and you're interested in the USCCA, we have 3 special bonuses for you when you join right now, but these bonuses end soon. All you need to do is click the link in the description to learn more about what they are. Everybody happy with that one over there this time? I did it right. I got the thumbs up. Oh, Kevin made a mistake. Furry Alpaca, the Centurion APX. That is my favorite Beretta gun. Outstanding, Furry Alpaca, and thanks for engaging with us on our YouTube Live. All right, Reweezy. I love some of these screen names. How do you survive a gun to your head? Wow. Okay, well, lots of different methods. It depends on where the gun is pointed at your head. Is it to the side of your head? Is it to the front of your head? First of all, you want to try to be talking your way out of this situation. You want to encourage somebody that they don't have to shoot you at the gun to your head. And maybe they're not. If you think about that, if they put the gun to the head and they're threatening you, well, they could have just put the gun to your head and pulled the trigger right away if they really wanted to kill you. Maybe they want to do something else. So you have that opportunity to keep the situation fluid, keep talking with them. I don't know how this is positioned. I know that from dead on straight in the front, you know, my good buddy Rich Nance over at WarTac, which is Weapons Acquisition and Retention Tactics, he's shown us how to take a gun away from somebody. If you can touch it, you can take it. I can't explain it in the time that we have here. You can get training to help you take that gun away. But remember this, action always defeats reaction. But if you're going to take action and you're involved in a hands-on fight, doing one thing is never enough. You need to have follow-up movements and action immediately. So if you're knocking that gun offline and it's no longer pointed at you, you need to be following up with some other action, whether you're trying to pry the gun out of their hands, whether you're delivering punches, or better yet, knee strikes with your knees while you're keeping your hand on that gun, and then you're in a fight for your life. Just make sure that you're not letting that gun get pointed at you. But action will defeat reaction every time like that, but holy cow, that's a dangerous situation, and you don't want to go into it without getting training. So if you're worried that someone's going to put a gun to your head, go and get some training and understand what you can and can't do. If somebody's 6 or 8 feet away and the gun is pointed at your head, you might be in some serious trouble. All right, we've got the last question of the day. Chris, oh, it's great. It's another dog question. Okay. Oh, Gunfighter Concealment made a $20 donation. Thanks, Gunfighter Concealment. I appreciate that. Chris wants to know, when your dog is being attacked by another dog, can you use your firearm? No, you can't. Okay. Remember, your pet is property. And if you're shooting at another dog to protect your property, you might be charged with reckless endangerment or shooting a firearm within city limits, all sorts of other things like that. And as much as you don't want to hear it, pets are property. Even though you consider them to be part of your family, pets are property and the laws apply. And you may not like it, but you're going to be facing serious consequences if you're using your firearm against anything other than an imminent, deadly threat to you or another person or persons. So yes, there's defensive third party, but that's a third party human being. It's not defensive third party with your dog. So you just can't do it. And I know nobody likes to hear that answer, especially people who love dogs, but you can't do that. So Gunfighter, he sent us, it says $20 donation here. Did I say that before? All right. So we're going to read the Gunfighter question. I said it was the last question before, but this guy paid, so we're going to read that. And there's another line going on here, and I better have some more details about this thing right here. Gunfighter Concealment and a $20 donation. You use your gun in self-defense and get charged for that and carrying a gun in a non-permissible environment, and you plead guilty on the charge. Will the USCCA cover your shooting trial? That's something I don't really know for sure and can't really talk about just based on the insurance laws and stuff out there. So Gunfighter, you're going to have to reach out to our customer support team. They're going to help you with that question. They are folks who have all of the right certifications and qualifications according to insurance adjusters and the insurance folks out there who are monitoring insurance sales and things like that. So I want you to reach out to our customer support team and ask them specifically about it, because this stuff comes up on a case-by-case basis, and they're going to have to look at all of the details of the situation to understand. It's all laid out there, and somebody on our customer support team can help you. So, all right, now that's it. I'm going to give you this one more time. We have 3 free bonuses going on right now if you join the USCCA, but these bonuses end really soon. So click the link in the description to learn about what they are. You can join the USCCA right now and you'll get 3 free bonuses. I don't even know what they are, so click on the link and it will tell you what they are. And if you like these comments, if you like these live sections, please leave some notes for us in the comments. Tell us if we're doing it at the right time of day. Tell us if we're answering the right number of questions, if we're here long enough or we're here too long or something like that. Leave some comments, give us some input so we can make these better for you every single time. I'm Kevin Michalowski, editor of Concealed Carry Magazine and director of content here at the USCCA. Thank you for watching this live video content. See you next time.